y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden and it is pouring rain outside. We are getting like 5 inches today alone, which is insane. Flash flooding, lots going on. And since that is happening, one of my favorite things to do when it's raining is to curl up inside and watch YouTube gardening channels. So today I want to talk to you guys about 5 lesser known gardening channels that I love to watch. Okay, so we all know a bunch of the big ones that we love and have watched for a long time and really enjoy all those, but I wanted to kind of highlight a few of the gardening YouTube channels that I really love that aren't like massively large. They don't have tons of subscribers or anything like that. It's lots of people who've been doing this for at least a couple of years, which is really fun because I'd love to see people who've really put in the effort for quite a while. And all of these are really, I love them for very specific reasons. It's not just all in general. All of them bring very different things to the table, which I really enjoy. All of these people I feel like are really genuine, which is very important to me when I'm watching YouTube gardening channels. And I also like a certain level of artistic quality to a lot of the YouTubers that I watch. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, the first one that I've been watching quite a bit of, and I only recently discovered them this year, is Crowley House Flower Farm. And that came up as just a YouTube suggestion recommendation, and I clicked on it, ended up watching it. And the one that popped up originally was they were starting seeds in one of their greenhouses, and then not that much later they had one pop up on sweet peas and then another one pop on the shade garden, and I just really got into it. So the main person on the Crowley House Flower Farm is Beth. She's the owner. Her daughter works on the farm. They have lots of amazing people who work on the farm. Her husband works with her, and they're more of like a boutique style flower farm. So they do have tons and tons of flowers, and I believe they sell them to other people, but they mainly utilize them for their own floral arranging and designing work that they do within their community. Now they're located in Oregon, so not my particular zone, but still just really, really beautiful. I really like how they have laid out a lot of their stuff, like where they've got all their roses in one location, and how they talk about how they're laying out different things. And they talk a lot about the trials and tribulations regarding all of their flower farming, which y'all know I'm real big about, is showing the things that did not go so well. The feel of this channel is very relaxing. It's not high pressure. Beth talks with just a very like chill, relaxing voice. It doesn't feel like a performance at all. It feels like that's just really her, which I'm obsessed with things like that. I love that. I feel like I have a connection like with who she is as a real person as opposed to who she is like on TV. It has just a really good down-to-earth format. Beautiful, because she does some really beautiful B-roll, and the setting is gorgeous, and their farm is beautiful, and the Crowley house is gorgeous. It's all very beautiful, but it feels down to earth and manageable. It doesn't feel like she's trying to sell you a product, which is wonderful. It does definitely presents like their lifestyle as flower farmers, but not a fake lifestyle. Like it's hard work, and she shows the hard work. So you see the dirty parts of owning a flower farm, and you see the fun parts too. But I really just feel like it's just really close to what their actual life is, which I'm obsessed with things like that, where I feel like I'm part of what's going on and that I could just step right in one day to Crowley House Flower Farm, and anything I see that particular day would be something I would see from them on their YouTube channel. Now this channel is excellent if you're a cut flower enthusiast. So they are a flower farm, but a lot of the things that they teach and talk about are things that you can apply at home, which is wonderful. Or if you're just someone who wants to watch beautiful things, that's definitely the feel of Crowley House. Beautiful, but not curated, if that makes sense. So lots of beautiful reality, but not fixed or like trendy reality, which I really, really enjoy. It's very soothing to listen to Beth talk. They're very specific on their topics, very educational. They don't talk through things really fast, which I really enjoy that as well. But yeah, just a really great, fun channel to watch with a lot of information, and they're definitely binge worthy, right? You can watch episode after episode after episode and just really enjoy it and relax, especially on something like this rainy day. Okay, a few of my fave videos, I kind of already touched on some of them. Anything regarding their shade garden, there's a couple of parts regarding her working on the shade garden, which I really, really enjoy because obviously I've been working on my own shade garden. I love their snapdragons and woodland foraging. Any kind of foraging videos I enjoy. I think it's just kind of a fun way to add to your floral arrangements and such. And then I really liked their video on growing sweet peas. I thought it was the main video I watched multiple times when starting my own sweet peas. And so I thought that was a really great one to watch as well. Okay, next on my list is Garden Queen, and I believe her name is Natia or Natea. I apologize if I've gotten it wrong either direction. So Garden Queen, I've been watching for probably a year and a half. And recently she's gotten much more serious about her YouTube channel. She is posting quite frequently, and I think that's her main job now. She's located in the St. Louis area, and her zone is 6B. So very different from my zone. And truthfully, her whole garden and the way she gardens, her whole style is completely different from what I do. But I still really appreciate watching her. She's extremely enthusiastic, hilarious. She makes me laugh every single episode when I'm watching her. She just lets all her personality hang out, which is wonderful. I really like that. And she's very authentic. The massive focus of her gardening is container gardening. And her style of container gardening is very lush, I would say a little bit traditional, a little bit modern. She prefers concrete containers, although she has a lot of terracotta as well, but she has all the beautiful concrete urns and such in her backyard. And she talks a lot about how to care and how to grow things in those type of containers. I definitely feel like her garden has definitely like a traditional romantic approach. And I think that lends itself a lot because she does so many of those concrete containers, but she does a lot of uniformity and balance on everything. So typically when you see one container, she's got two containers that are, symmetrical in some way. Or if she's working on her window boxes, she lays them out in a symmetrical format. So she really kind of lends herself to that style and design, which I really appreciate that because I don't do that. So I plant very all over the place. And so I really appreciate seeing this aspect because it gives me an opportunity to see something different and then perhaps apply some of those principles to my own garden. Okay, her container selection is unreal. She goes in like this little sunroom area that she has off the back of her house, and she has all of her pots set up, and it's glorious. I want to go shopping in her little sunroom. I think it's really fun to see all of her containers. She says she grows a lot of stuff. I don't see a lot where she starts things, but I think that's because she's just now starting to show a lot more of that. She does a lot of work with bulbs, like how to force bulbs at particular times, which I think is super fun because it allows you to control when you have the color in your containers. She does some seed starting as well. I do like the interesting combination of plants that she puts together because a lot of times I don't consider those combinations. So it is really cool to see somebody else do that. She changes out her containers frequently, which is really fun. So she's always changing and trying new color combinations and new variety combinations. I really enjoy a lot of her off-season videos. I like watching her when it's cold outside, when it's winter, because she does a lot of floral designs that go into your house. She is always adding color to her house or to her sunroom space or something like that. So I think she's very refreshing during like the dark, cold time of the year. It's really fun to watch her because she does these vibrant floral arrangements, but her personality is also extremely vibrant, which is wonderful and just makes you feel good when you get to the end of an episode. She has a lot of topiaries in her space, which I long for topiaries, but I'm not very good at like biting the bullet and actually buying them. So it's really fun to see what other people do. I also like that she always has her Garden Queen shirt on. I think it's really fun. It kind of shows her personality. She's gotten very creative in the way that she edits her videos, which is fun. It feels more of like a day in the life, like a vlog, which is really kind of fun because you get to see her do multiple things during each video. And I think that's kind of fun. And she definitely like keeps you on your toes. It's not a video. Her videos are not videos that you're going to get bored halfway through. You're definitely going to want to watch all the way through to the end. So some of my favorite videos is pretty much any video where she is doing her window boxes. I don't own window boxes, and there's just not a reality in my really hot climate. Her window boxes are spectacular, and she does tons of them, and she's constantly redoing them. So if you have window boxes, or if you don't and you really want to be inspired, go ahead and start with some of those episodes that she does because they're super fun. Okay, next on my list is Jerry Landers of Hopalong Hollow, which truthfully, Jerry is not like a little bitty YouTube channel. She's by far the biggest on this list that I have, but I wish more people would watch her because she's just this very cool fusion of like a gardening artist, which really speaks to me. So she does a lot of content on gardening, but she also has some cooking. She shows antiques. She talks about her artwork and shows her artwork. And when I say an artist, she does felt sculpture, she does painting, she does drawing. I'm obsessed with her journaling process. So she gives glimpses of that throughout her videos, which is just really fun and inspiring. And I would love to like be more free with my gardening process. Like I'm very like regimented with like my journaling process. And she has little notes and she tapes in things here and little drawings and her handwriting is beautiful. Her journaling is amazing. I wish that she would do a few videos just on her journaling, just talking about her process, the products that she uses, what she likes to focus on. Really, really love it. Jerry's voice is very soothing. You rarely see her on camera. She's always holding the camera. Her voice is just very soothing. She doesn't do a million takes on stuff. It's just like whatever comes out of her mouth is what's on there. But I really, really like that because I appreciate that casual quality, and it feels like I'm just walking along beside her in her garden when she's talking about her garden. So there's something just like very special about that. She has tons of animals on her property, which is super fun. So you can be watching a video and you can just hear like a goose, or she has peacocks, or you just might be watching, there's a cat curled up in the corner of the garden. I mean, there's just all kinds of really fun animals, which is really, really fun. And she uses a lot of those animals as inspiration for her artwork, specifically her sculptures and a lot of her drawings and paintings. Her garden is very like rustic country farm garden, true to form, not the trendy country farm garden that you might think of. Hers is like for real, something that she has cultivated over decades. She has just repurposed, recycled, and reused unusual things within her garden. And when you see her garden, you can tell that this is a space that is loved, thought about, worked on, that kind of thing. But there is in no way perfection, which like I'm going to say to you, I love that. It's real. It's very real. So she might be working on one little area, and then over here, she'll scan to another area where she's like, I need to pull weeds. I need to do this. Oh, this little wall fell down. I've got violets everywhere that need to be pulled. It's very, very real. I also love that I don't love that she struggles, but she does struggle with things eating and pulling up her bulbs and her seedlings and stuff. So she has little baskets and little cloches all over on the top of everything with like rocks on top to hold them in place, which is just really fun. It's just a very real garden. And watching her talk and plan out a lot of her gardening is very fun. And then every single plant has like a little story. She remembers where she got it or who gave it to her, or somebody gave her a gift card and she was able to buy this rose. So everything is just, it's emotional, it's artistic, and it's like you're right there in the garden with her. So I found her videos or her channel when I was looking for greenhouse ideas. And she has some videos where she's focusing on her greenhouse and she's using all like old house parts or recycled repurposed things, and it's absolutely beautiful. And she goes through the process and talks about how everything was made, and it's just really, really great. Now, I have since decided that I don't need a greenhouse. It doesn't make sense for my space, but I get how it makes sense for hers. And then when she takes you into her greenhouse, if she's doing seed starting, everything is organized, but in such beautiful, unique ways. It's not all like, mine's like hard plastic containers, that have like all of my seeds. And she's got little baskets and little, folded bits of paper with her seeds tucked in and handwritten, and dried blooms over here and her coffee cup. It's just all very soft and artistic. And it's quite the journey when you're watching her videos because it's so layered. Like what is available on her channel is just very layered. It's not like you're going to get one topic and that's it. She's going to talk about that topic, but then she's also going to hit over here and touch over there, and then you're going to get a glimpse of, maybe some beautiful hand painted furniture that she's done in her house. Like it's very layered and beautiful. And the more you watch it, the more you kind of learn about her as an artist and about her beautifully artistic space. Okay, some of my favorite videos are planting a Beatrix Potter patch. That got me into a book that she suggested about Beatrix Potter's Gardens. So I ended up ordering that book and reading that book, which is great. But also this tie-in, this like Beatrix Potter, it's such a tie-in to like Jerry's outlook as an artist too. So it's really kind of neat to see like the crossover between the two of them, which is very cool. And then I love anything about her greenhouse, whether she's building it or whether she's working in it. I'm obsessed because it just seems like this like just beautiful little space, this quiet, secluded location for her, which is just very cool. So I hope you guys will go check her out. Okay, number 4 on my list is Olga Cared. And Olga was definitely just a YouTube recommendation, and I was drawn by her thumbnail, which had a ton of like David Austin roses on it. And I've been trying to grow quite a few roses, so I was interested. And so I jumped on and I immediately became obsessed with her. I love watching her videos, and I'm always looking out for her new ones. Now, Olga is located in Connecticut, zone 6/7. She's actually Ukrainian with a beautiful Ukrainian accent. So it's really kind of fun to see that she's come now to the States and that she's growing in the States, which is really, really cool. She is what I would say, she is absolutely charming. You just know it to your bones that she is like the nicest, most kind person ever. And when you are watching her videos, it's like you're having a conversation together. It's like you're sitting there and she's, instructing you on what she's doing in her garden. So very authentic and very kind lady. She knows so much about roses. I think that's what I really kind of turned to her for. She knows a lot about roses and she knows a lot of details and she does a lot of rose education, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. And it doesn't feel like uppity on her presentation of what is happening, what you need to be doing with your roses. Everything feels suggestion and that this is what she's done and it's worked well for her. And these varieties, she'll talk about these beautiful varieties and show beautiful shots of her garden. And her garden has obviously been curated over multiple years, which is wonderful. One of my favorite videos is of her teaching how to prune climbing roses, which is really, really fun because you just kind of watch her go through the process and she talks about it. And I mean, it feels doable. When you watch the video, she's such a good teacher. If you feel motivated and you feel like, I can do that, like I can do what she's doing, I can absolutely do that. So that's one of the big reasons I enjoy her videos. Her garden is extremely serene, lush green. Sometimes it rains a little and then there's, wind blowing in the background and layers upon layers in the garden. And it's just very serene space. And she gives a really great info, but she gives it at a slower pace, which I really appreciate that, because some YouTubers, when I watch, they talk so fast and I have to rewind and write down. Like, she just talks at like such a friendly conversational pace that it feels really good. And I don't often have to rewind too often to go back to figure something out with her. Although I do have some of her videos saved because she has such great information on roses. I like to go back and look over those videos. I would definitely say she's an excellent teacher. So she's not just going to talk, she's also going to do, which is really, really fun. And her videos feel like this is what she would naturally be doing in her garden anyway. So that's something I really love. I love, and I tried to do that. Like, I tried to just be like, this is what I'm doing in my gardening today. It might not be the most popular thing out there right now, but this is what's actually happening in my garden. That definitely feels that way with Olga, that's what she set out to do in the day, and that's just what she's taking care of in her garden space. So my fave videos for her, anything about roses. If you want to learn about roses and you want to feel like, you know, like the person is like real when you're talking to them, definitely go check Olga out, because all her rose videos, and you got to watch multiple of the rose videos. I've never seen a video where you just one video and you learn everything about roses. That's not how her videos are. She talks about different varieties. She talks about David Austin. She just talks about all different types of roses and how to basically use them in your space, how to grow them and care for them. I also love one of her videos. It's called Best Evergreens to Use in the Garden, and she talks about evergreens that are good for large, medium, and small garden spaces, which I just think is really fun. Evergreens is something that I would like to have more of in my garden, so it's really fun to see her walk through that process as well. And then she also has a video where she's creating an obelisk for one of her climbing roses, which is just to die for. Anybody who's going to create things with stuff that's already in their garden, I'm here for it. I love that kind of stuff, and it's very inspiring, and I would like to create a similar type of obelisk utilizing the willow branches from my willow tree in the backyard. Okay, and number 5 on my list is someone that I've been watching for a shorter amount of time than the other ones, and that is Crowley Gardens. And the man on there, his name is Crane, and he's located in New Jersey, Zone 7. And he very much approaches his videos as he talks about the flowers, but he also talks about his life, and you see his family. And then he also touches on like his feelings, his thoughts, and his struggles, which I think is very real. Very real and very personal. I watch him, typically I'll get a tear in my eye, so I can only watch sometimes when I'm prepared, because he's so raw and open with himself when he's on these videos, which is great. Now, his garden is to freaking die for. One of the prettiest gardens, cut flower gardens, that I've ever seen on a YouTube garden channel, hands down. It's lush, it's well thought out, it's cultivated over multiple years. He's always out in it. He loves to teach you how to cut flowers from your garden without destroying the beauty of your garden, which I always feel a lot of guilt when I'm cutting flowers from a plant because it looks so beautiful, and now I'm cutting and bringing them in. So he kind of shows you the ways around that, and he talks about how he struggles with that too. His channel is definitely all focused on cut flowers. He talks a lot about floral arranging, which is great because that's one of his big focuses. But what's great about Crane is that he is not formally trained in floristry. He is not formally trained in gardening. Everything that he does in his garden or with, he's just tried and then made changes. And then he's observed over here, and then he's tried something over here, and he's just a lot of trial and error. So I think it's just very realistic to watch him and see his capabilities and know that you as a gardener can get to the same place as him even without formal training. His garden style is very cottage garden and very romantic vibes, lots of color, lots of interesting textures. He mixes everything in, so it's not just like formal rows of zinnias or dahlias or whatever. A lot of stuff is kind of mixed in, and then he still goes into the garden and cuts from them. So I really like that aspect and idea because that's something that I want to apply more of to my garden. I want to tuck in plants beautiful perennial plants that are great for cut flowers, but not necessarily in like this very like formal row type of setting. And I want different things to bloom at different times so that I have lots of layering, and that definitely is the feel of Crane's garden. Okay, for videos for Crane, anything about flower arranging I think is really fun, just because it just seems, he makes everything seem simple. Like it doesn't feel difficult when you're watching him. I think it was great. Anything where he talks about his struggles, I think I really enjoy. It's emotional, but it feels so real. So it's really kind of enjoyable to watch, because he's also dealing with his flowers and showing these beautiful photos and videos of his property while he's talking about it. And so you can just feel that he's like poured his soul into his flowers. Definitely like you feel that connection. Really fun. Okay, so those are 5 kind of lesser, with the exception of Jerry. She's a little bit bigger, but still smaller compared to a lot of the big giant YouTube gardeners. But those are 5 lesser known garden channels that I love to watch and that I watch on a weekly basis. These are definitely people that I subscribe to and have notifications for, so I can jump on and watch their videos. And while like a lot of them, we're not the same, but they're just really fun to watch, and I enjoy and I gather inspiration from them. So I think that that's a really cool aspect. I have a lot of trouble finding gardeners that are in my area and that are doing the gardening things that I am. And I think this is because this is just like a really hard area to garden in. I was just saying that I need to do a video about how summer is not a growing season for me. In the North Texas area, we really have spring gardening season, then we have summer where everything dies, and then we have fall. We have a pretty long fall where it's a whole nother gardening season. And so I really feel like I need to do a video on why summer is not a gardening season in Texas. But it's really hard to find gardeners who are gardening in my exact kind of climate, because even like zone 8 people, if you're not zone 8 Texas, it's a whole different ball game here, just because of how hot or dramatic the weather is here. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so those are the people I loved to watch. They inspire me. They bring me joy. They make me laugh. I tear up sometimes. I see beautiful flowers, beautiful scenery from these people, and all of them are very authentic, which I think is very important. Okay, so a couple of other things. My absolute fave gardening channel is You Can't Eat the Grass, and I love Serena and Ian. They were some of the first people that I started watching on YouTube before I even started my own channel. And I do like to model myself after Serena, that she is just very real and in her space, and this is who I am, take it or leave it. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I love, even though I'm a flower farm, I love watching them grow. I love watching their struggles. They're very real, and I very much enjoy it. And then I wanted to just throw in a couple of other ones that are my non-gardening channels, because I actually watch a lot of YouTube. I watch more YouTube than I do pretty much any kind of television at all. And so I wanted to touch on a few of my non-gardening channels that I absolutely love. The first one is Christine McConnell, which she was on some reality show, but she's basically like a professional set designer. But now she has like this old Victorian home in New York, and she does renovations. She does everything DIY from scratch, and it has this very like dark, moody, romantic vibe to it, which is super fun, and it feels otherworldly when you're like you're stepping back in time when you're watching her videos. Nothing to do with gardening, but I absolutely love it. Next is Diego Leon, and he and his wife are renovating properties, I believe in France, is correct. And basically, he and his wife, they just do everything DIY themselves, renovating in their homes. And when I say renovating, I mean like hardcore like masonry work and bringing down 200-year-old beams and like like real, I'm not talking just like decorating and putting up some like sheetrock. I'm talking like he's going to build a stone wall from the base up. It's just insanity, absolutely insanity. Beautifully shot. But he does all the work himself, and which I think is fun. They also have a garden, and they do give glimpses of the garden. And then I think he must be some kind of chef as well. I think he's actually a trampoline artist. So sometimes he's on his trampoline doing flips, but then he's always cooking for his wife. And I'm like, yes, that's awesome. Always cooking for his wife. And then I just really enjoy watching them go through the work. He usually posts once a week, I think on Sundays. But yeah, really kind of fun, soothing channel to watch, especially with the renovations. Okay, another one I love is Flea Market Rescue, and this is just this lady who just goes to flea markets and she buys stuff for her own booth, and then she does crafts, and she's always traveling around with her friends. A lot of garage sale hunting, which I really enjoy. I love thrifting and I love garage selling. But Flea Market Rescue is just an easy one just to put on and just let it go. I'll just put it on in the background and I'll go about my business throughout the day, and then I'll glance back and forth watching to see what they found. And she's always looking for stuff that's reasonable. So it's not like she's very like super fancy, which I appreciate that because what she's buying is more in my budget range. So I think that's super fun too. Okay, and then the last one is Rajiv Surendra, which I'm sure I butchered his name. And this is, I am obsessed with watching this channel because it's so far away from what my actual life is that I enjoy it. So Rajiv is just really focused on this like beautiful curated life. And he really talks about bringing back things that used to be done by hand and with time and study and artistic creative approaches. And I mean, he'll talk about calligraphy, or he'll talk about he studied with this wonderful ceramic potter, or like just, or he'll talk about how to dress your bed in like a beautiful way. And it's not that I do any of those things, right? It's not that I do any of that stuff in my real life. It's that he shows these beautiful old-fashioned ways of doing things that we could still do now if we would just take the time and energy to do that. One of his most recent videos was about his storage closet in New York, because obviously living in New York, you don't have a lot of space. So he has a separate storage closet. It is unlike any storage closet you've ever seen. It's beautiful. It's like a store, but like a very almost museum-like, very cool. But he just talks about ways to make your life beautiful. And I appreciate that. I think one of the things, I think about as I'm going about, I love beautiful things. I love making beautiful things, and I like making the things around me beautiful. Like that's literally it. And I don't have any like massive like dreams. I just want to have peace, and I just want to be around beautiful things. And I know beautiful is in the eye of the beholder. Like what Rajiv sees as beautiful is completely different from what I see as beautiful, but I can still really appreciate his outlook on everything. So those are also very fun, soothing videos. In fact, one of my kids had a nightmare and couldn't sleep last night. He came in my room, crawled in bed, and I was watching Rajiv, and we just both sat there and just watched. And he 13 years old, and he still really enjoyed watching it. It's just a very unique outlook on life. Okay, you all, I hope you guys, this is a very different video for me. I just wanted to throw some things out there. Like these are people that I really like to watch. These are people that inspire me. And so I was hoping to give you guys the opportunity to check these people out as well. I have in no way even, hit even a small fraction of the availability of channels on YouTube. So I would be very interested if there's gardening channels that you absolutely love. And I'm looking for gardening channels that aren't like the obvious choices. Like I know Garden Answer is awesome, and I love Impatient Gardener, and I know Creekside Nursery. Like I love all of those as well, but those are the big ones. I want to know about the smaller ones, the undiscovered ones that you guys really enjoy, or that bring you, really a lot of peace, inspiration, or education for the garden. And then also if you just have like a really fun non-gardening YouTube channel that you'd like to jot down, like, oh, one of my other favorite ones, did I not put her on here? Oh, I skipped her. Oh, one of my other favorite ones is Jade the Libra, and it's totally random. It's this woman who is basically really into Halloween, and she decorates her house in Halloween, and she shops for Halloween, and she has a skeleton in her car when she's shopping for Halloween, she talks to Mr. Skeleton all the time. It's hilarious, but so wonderful because once again, it's a very authentic person. She's lovely. She has a baby that she talks about. She shows about decorating her, for Christmas, but in like more of a black and white gothic romantic styling, which is really fun. So yeah, that's one of my other really fun. So if you have a really like fun, quirky channel, you're like, hey, check this out. I think you might really like it. I'd be really interested to hear about that too. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. All right, you all, as always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.